Hi, my name is Danny Brown. I'm the CEO of Myriad Real Estate Group, and this is going to be our November market update. So right now, what we're seeing is there's about 10,900 homes listed for sale in all of Greater Phoenix or Maricopa County. This is coming up off of where we were at. About 8,200 was where we were stuck at in terms of overall inventory on the market for the Greater Phoenix area. But because interest rates have gotten as high as they are, which is around 8%, we are seeing homes take much longer to sell. And so as homes get listed and homes are sitting on the market longer, we're starting to see that inventory finally go up, which is actually a good thing. We want to see more inventory on the market. We want buyers to have choice, and we want to see a healthier real estate market where days on market tend to be anywhere from 3 to 6 months. We are getting closer right now to that 3-month mark worth of inventory. So affordability is really challenging right now. So as interest rates get higher, less people can afford to buy homes. So with every 1% increase in mortgage rates, there's about 5 million less people that can afford to purchase a home. And so with rates hovering around 8%, affordability is at its worst, and it's making it really challenging for buyers, pushing a lot of people onto the sidelines. So there's a lot of demand out there for housing, like a lot of people that we talk to want to buy homes. They just can't afford the monthly payment or the interest rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage. So right now you're seeing a chart where we're seeing an increase in the days on market. So it looks very steep, but that's because demand has fallen off a cliff, not because we're seeing more homes hit the market than what we normally see. If you look at this graph, it was pretty balanced and flat for most of the year, and that's where we were stuck at that 8,200 listings on the market. So inventory was remaining pretty level. Well, now with a decrease even further in demand, we've seen an increase in the number of homes on the market because it's taking longer for homes to sell, not because we're seeing a flood of new listings hit the market. To compound this even more, we are headed into what we typically see during the holiday season is very slow for real estate anyway. So if you look at what happened last year, this same scenario kind of played out where interest rates popped. We were in the 6s. Little did we know that 6s would be a great rate compared to where we are today. But we were in the 6s and we saw demand fall really hard and we saw inventory increase. So if you look at 2022, that line is up here, and that's because there's not as many people buying during the holidays. And then if our seasonality kicks in, which it historically does every spring, we'll start to see demand pick up for housing. People will start buying homes again, and we'll start to see that inventory and days on market come back down as we traditionally do in a relatively normal market. Now, 8% rates are throwing a big wrench in that, so will we see that typical seasonality? I don't know, but I suspect that we will. I also suspect that rates will ease up off of that 8% as well. Let's talk about why rates are at 8% right now. And it's all tied to the 10-year Treasury. And so the federal government, the US government, issues bonds. People buy those bonds and they're guaranteed that rate of return. And the rate at which the government pays on those bonds is based on supply and demand. So the more supply there is and the less demand, the higher the rate for those government-issued bonds go to try to attract people to purchase them, right? So there's a lot of stuff happening in the world. A lot of governments are tightening up, and a lot of governments are not buying bonds that are issued by the federal government. And so those rates have been increasing, and people have been investing elsewhere. Well, now we're starting to see a lot of geopolitical issues take place in the world. And typically when those things start to happen, we see a flee to what are called safe havens. And one of the safest investments that you can make is a US government issued bond. It's a guaranteed rate of return. So we peaked at 5%. Well, we've backed off that rate a bit because more people have been purchasing those bonds. You've also seen an increase in the cost for gold. You've seen Bitcoin increase, which I personally don't believe that that's a safe haven, but some people do. So those safe haven investments are increasing because people are worried about some of the geopolitical issues that take place. And one of the most steady things that exist in our world is the United States government. Buyers can expect in this market is a lot of options. So they've got choices right now. A lot of negotiating power. So you can continue to get sellers to contribute towards your closing costs, to buy down your rate, to cover the fees to your lender, your realtor, the title company. And you can expect sellers to do a lot of repairs as well. So buyers have a lot more power right now than they have in quite a long time. I'm not going to come out and fully say this is a buyer's market because of the affordability factor, but buyers have a lot more power than they did just a few months ago. So I think that buyers should be taking advantage of the fact that the pendulum is in their court and they can start finally beating up on sellers. I also think that buyers should ignore 30-year fixed mortgages. So I wouldn't be using a 30-year fixed mortgage to purchase a home right now because of that affordability issue. I'd be using a 5, 7, or 10-year ARM, and I'm going to go into further explanation on what those are and how to take advantage of them in a video later this month. Just in short, buyers should definitely be taking advantage of this situation. I think it's Warren Buffett that says, when everybody else is selling, I'm buying, and when everybody else is buying, I'm selling. So this is that opportunity for buyers to really beat up on sellers. What can sellers expect? Well, sellers can expect to be beat up by buyers. They need to price accurately. They need to be prepared to pay closing costs. And I would even advertise that. I would advertise, and even we have a graphic that we will put in with our photos to show if we buy down the rate, what that monthly payment would look like, so that we can clearly show buyers that buying your home is more affordable than buying someone else's. So I'd be prepared for that on the front end. Make sure that your home is in good condition. People aren't wanting to buy trash. And just be prepared to negotiate. This isn't the market of a few months ago or a couple years ago where sellers carried all the cards, we're getting multiple offers. Buyers have choices. So as a seller, be prepared to price appropriately and negotiate on that price when the time comes. And if you do get an offer, first off, be glad you got that offer. And second, really consider it and negotiate and try to go under contract. I'm also seeing in our marketplace a lot of investors just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. I'm getting a lot of terrible seller financing offers, a lot of terrible, really low cash offers. And I know that these investors are not looking at the home because as soon as we go active, we get these offers. Now, as an agent, I have to present them, but typically my advice to our sellers is to not entertain them. Don't even counter, because they're not real. They're just fishing. So be on the lookout for those types of offers as well. As we get through the holiday season, remember that a lot of this is just the seasonality of real estate. We always see a pullback in home values during November, December, January, and then we do start to see home values pick back up in the spring season here in Phoenix. We saw it this year in 2022. We weren't sure when we were doing videos in 2021 if we would see our seasonality, but it turns out we did. I suspect we will see that seasonality return as well this next season. So you're going to see a lot of videos with people like myself quoting that you're going to see home values drop 5, 10, 15%. Look for trends there. These people are not doing any sort of economic models to come up with these numbers. It just sounds good. 5, 10, 15%. It's a total dart throw. Do I think that home values are going to come down? I do, just based on pure supply and demand. How much they're going to pull back, I have no idea, and neither do any of these people either. I have no idea what mortgage rates are going to do either. Look at my videos a year ago. I never thought in a million years that we would be talking about 8% mortgage rates. So I am through quoting percentages because no one knows what's going to happen. I just want to give you the facts. I think that buying a home is still the best investment and purchase that anyone can make, and that you should do it when the time is right for you and you can afford those monthly payments versus renting a home. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and we will see you next time.